just come, like out here to encourage you guys, like everything, is possible as long as, just put, like a mind towards it, and then, you start making strategies, break it down, into steps that, are achievable, set goals, targets and all that stuff. I'm only 22 years, but, you know, trying, like to see, how we can make, like this big dream, skate across Africa. It sounds, like very big, and it scares, but you can see that we're getting there, like soon, finishing it up. Now we just, having like 3 more countries, like to get, it done, and everything, something like that. So I just want to, like encourage you guys that you can do, whatever you want in in your life. You can go anywhere you want to live. Just try, like to put God first, and then set strategies, try, like to balance, like everything. God will bring, the right people into your life, something like that. Because we didn't know, like a lot of people, we have met, like so many people on the way, as we started, like pushing from Uganda, going to Cape Town. But we found, like special people who come into our lives, and me, I call them, like angels, people, who love us, who show us love, and all that stuff. They have been really, so much, so just, don't be scared, get out there, get out of your room, get out of the country, go do something, that you really, feel at heart that you want to do. A lot of people, ask us, what are we benefiting from this? But I would like to say, I always love, like to do something that's gonna, like impact other people, and then me, myself, I'll come in always later. God is always, like taking care of me. I've never, like, been that much bad, in my life, but God is always, like watching whatever you do. So we're doing this, like for the kids, for charity, for Africa and something like that. And so if you want to do like something, just get out, go start chasing it. If the moment you find your purpose in art, it's something that you can do, and God will always like provide. So I'm glad that I found my purpose, on art, so that's what I'm trying, like to do, to raise it up, and all that stuff. So just wake up, believe in yourself that you can do it. God will always, like bring the right people, into your way that you can go, and then you can manifest, that dream, whatever you have in your head, go for it.